Today, I'm going to go over the bare basics you need to go hunting for deer. We will cover some guns, gear, tactics, then later on in the video I will actually go and show you guys one of my hunting spots and why I hunt it. And that's my dog. Let's get into it. We'll start out with the gear, and then I'll go into some tactics. First things first, you gotta take, at least in Pennsylvania, you have to take a hunter safety course. I highly recommend it. You can never be too safe with these guns. In my opinion, the hunter safety course, it teaches you a lot of stuff, and you don't want to be out there just throwing bullets around. You don't want to do that. So that's the first thing that you need. I have 3 guns on the table. They're all different. This one here is a 223 Savage Axis. It's a great gun. It's a little small for deer hunting, but as long as you put a good shot in, it'll put a deer down. That's what matters. Putting a good, accurate shot, ethical kill on a deer. This gun, as small as the bullet is, it will put a deer down. The next one I have here is a Winchester Model 94 30-30 lever action. As you can see, there's no scope on this. I never put a scope on it due to the fact that it is top eject. When you shoot and unchamber the round, bullet comes flying out the top, and that's normally right where your scope goes. So this is, in my opinion, more or less a brush gun. Maybe not necessarily for shooting through brush, but you can very quickly shoulder it. If you're up for the challenge, you can also go open sights. This one here, this is my favorite deer rifle. This is a Remington Model 700 30-06 with a loopholed scope. This is, in my opinion, the best setup for deer hunting. It shoots a great bullet, very accurate, and it's an absolutely sweet gun, and it puts the deer down, and that's what matters. Okay, so we went over the guns. Now let's get into the things that you need in order to go hunting. The first thing, hunting license. You got to have a hunting license. When you buy these, I know in Pennsylvania they give you a rule book. Read the book. Read the entire thing. I cannot tell you how many people do not do that, and they think that I am shooting deer out of season based on where I live. Read the rule book. It is extremely important to know the rules and regulations for when you are hunting. I also recommend a license holder. Just your license will slide down in there. It's convenient. Pennsylvania years ago, you had to display your hunting license. Now you don't. I still do. But that's definitely something, at least I recommend a license holder. Next, obviously, you're going to be shooting a gun. You need bullets. You can find these at Walmart, Cabela's, Bass Pro, Gander Mountain. Any sporting goods store will sell bullets. I highly recommend having a pair of binoculars. Now, these binoculars are really more or less for archery season. They don't have a great power of zoom on them because I only shoot 25 to 30 yards. I don't need to see super far. I recommend it. You always want to be able to positively identify the target that you are shooting. You do not want to do a mistake kill of any kind. These will help with that. Or if you have a good scope, you can also do that. But you don't want to be pointing your gun at things that you're not going to shoot. That's why I have binoculars. Now, after the binoculars, and once you shoot a deer, you're going to have to gut it. This is a Buck Knife Pro line. Extremely great knife. They will actually, if you need this blade sharpened, you send it back to them, they will sharpen it for you and replace it and send it back. They are a great company. Now, a couple years ago, I stumbled upon these knives. This is a Havalon knife. Believe it or not, this blade on this knife is removable. I will always have a sharp blade. I've actually used this knife right here to skin an entire deer. Skin and butcher an entire deer with this knife and this blade, actually. The blades last a long time. Most of the time they don't go dull on me. I break them. I mean, it's a very thin blade, but you can get a 10-pack of them fairly cheap when you walk in early in the morning. I like using a headlamp. This is a LED headlamp. It takes two 18650 batteries that go in the back. It's really quite bright. And it enables you to be hands-free, which is, to me, important, especially when you have a gun. If you're carrying something else in your other hand, you don't want to be holding on to a flashlight. And it's really great if you shoot a deer and you have to track it. You don't have to be holding a flashlight looking around for it. You can just use your head and look for blood. The next thing, orange. The state of Pennsylvania requires that you have 250 square inches of orange visible in a 360-degree direction. This is my nice warm hat. Nice and orange, fuzzy on the inside. It's great. You also need an orange vest. I'm ready to go deer hunting. This vest, I think this vest only cost me about $20 at Dick's Sporting Goods. It's actually a small game vest. You can put like pheasants or squirrels down inside these pockets. It goes around the whole back. But as long as you have 250 square inches of orange on you, it doesn't really matter what the vest is designed for. This one's optional, but I recommend it. Trail camera. I want to say this trail camera was only about $50. This is a Wild Game Innovations. It's a good trail camera. Shoots infrared for night shots, so you don't have a blinding flash. Kind of sometimes will spook the deer with a flash going off. But I've really never had any problems with these. They take pretty good pictures. And I believe they take double A's. SD card goes down in the bottom here. And this one will actually shoot video. And when you buy these, they come with little bungee cords to wrap around the tree. Depending on where you're putting this, you might want to consider a chain and a padlock. These get stolen. Now, next thing, in order to carry all your gear, backpack. This is a gallon backpack. I think it's 1,800 cubic inches. It's really quite big, but I absolutely love it. The zippers on it are quiet. They're not obnoxiously loud. To me, they're ideal for what I use it for, especially archery season. They're real quiet, but it holds a lot of stuff, and it even has a spot in the backpack where you can run almost like a camelback tube to put water in, which is good. That's pretty much the gear. I went over it real quick. All of the gear that I went over, other than the bullets, will be linked in the description down below, so you guys can go check them out for yourselves. Next, I want to get into some quick tactics, and then I will go show you guys my hunting spot, and I will show you exactly why I chose that spot. When you're hunting rifle season, especially if you're going to hunt public land, the first day is probably going to be your best day to shoot a deer that isn't incredibly pressured. And when I mean pressured, I mean constantly getting spooked, kicked up, shot at. They get pressured, and then they just they go into these safe spots where they feel safe and they won't move. unless you're really quite close to them. So when I go and I start scouting, I will look for spots that, if I can have a lot of deer trails intersecting, to me that is, it's like a highway junction. You have deer coming and going a whole bunch of different ways. If you can have 2 or 3 deer trails intersecting, that is a spot, especially on the first day, that I would key in on. The second tip I have is the first couple days of rifle season, you want to be able to know where the deer are going to go to bed down and where they're going to get food. So you want to be in between that spot at some point, in between their bedding area and their eating area. You want to be able to find that spot. You want to be able to intersect them on their way to and from the bedding area. That is an ideal spot to me. Now, once the deer start to get heavily pressured, maybe a week into rifle season, maybe a little bit sooner depending on how much activity is going on, these deer are going to get pressured. This is when you want to walk deep into the woods, find the deepest, thickest, nastiest cover you can possibly find, and sit there. Prepare for an all-day sit. When these deer get pressured, they go to spots, and they will literally, you can have the other hunters push the deer right to you. And that is ideal, to be able to know where those deer are going to go when they are pressured. Now, as far as scouting tips, I would recommend, like I said, trail cameras. They are a great scouting tool. If you do not have the money to afford a trail camera, believe it or not, if you take fishing line and you tie it across the deer trail, when that deer walks through there, that fishing line will break, and it should point in the direction that the deer went, provided that it works right. If you don't want to do that, take a gallon of water with you onto the deer trail, clear off all the leaves, dump the water out, and you'll make a mud puddle. And that mud puddle, when that deer walks through there, will tell you which way the deer went. It won't give you a time or anything else, but you will know a deer has gone through there. But overall, I highly recommend having a trail camera. In closing with scouting techniques and stuff, you gotta spend time in the woods. If you want to be successful, you gotta spend time in the woods and know where the food is, where the bedding areas are, and where the deer are going to go once they become pressured. Especially, a week or 2 into the deer season, these deer are not going to move much at all. If you can know where those deer are going to go, you are going to be very well off. So for the next part, I'm going to go drive to my hunting spot, and I'm going to show you guys exactly why I chose that spot, and I will also show you how I chose it and where I chose to put my tree stand. So, as I promised, I'm going to show you guys my hunting spot. Now, as you can see, it's kind of like a mowed meadow, but I have about 7 deer trails coming in to this one area, and then out there I have food. There's my food source. There's my bedding area, and bedding area. So there, right behind me, that tree is the tree I climb with my tree stand. I have deer coming from behind me, going to the food, which is ideal for this because of the way the wind goes. This is what you pretty much want to find when you're out scouting. Areas where the deer are going to go to eat and where they're going to bed. I spent a lot of time in the woods scouting this place to know when and where the deer are going to come through. Thanks for watching. Hit that subscribe button for me. And like I said, all the items that I showed you guys earlier in the video will be in the description down below, so you guys can check them out for yourself. Thanks for watching. Yeah.